Hi everybody, this is Christine, and this video is basically for the Seasons of the Heart block of the month people, but if the ornament of the month people want to watch it, that's fine too. But it's just a few little tips for everybody that's in the Seasons of the Heart block of the month. So you guys should have probably gotten your kits for this month, for May, by now. If you haven't gotten it, it's probably because we don't have your credit card number on file. So you should be giving us a call so we can get it out to you. But probably everybody has gotten it. And some of you may have already started it. And I did mean to do this video earlier, but Nellie and I have been very busy. We were in a quilt show and there's been a lot going on. So I just didn't get to it. But basically, I just wanted to show you a few little tips for doing these blocks. I've already done all 3 of the other blocks, but not the one that you guys got. So basically, I just wanted to show you just some little tips about how I did the other ones. So in your kit, you will have the pattern, and inside the pattern, you'll find the pre-printed panel. So each of the months, each of the seasons is a different panel. So this is the summer one. So the trees are in full bloom, and it's going to have a little bird in it. So when you get it out of the package, it's got some pretty big creases on it. So you're going to want to iron those out. And if you have some Best Press, just spray a little bit of that on, and that'll help get the creases out even better. So the first time I did it, I fused everything together onto the Osnaburg, and then I stitched through all the layers. And then the second one, I did it differently. So I did all the applique and the stitching on the pre-printed panel first, and then put it onto the Osnaburg. And I think if you read the pattern, that's what she tells you to do. So I guess I didn't follow the pattern to go to when I was doing it my first one. So you're going to want to get this nice and ironed out, and then you'll find in the kit you've got all the different colors of wool, and on the back of the pattern it tells you what each thing is for. So sometimes the pattern on the wool won't be exactly the same as in the pattern. It's all hand-dyed wool, and sometimes I can't make exactly what it looks like in the pattern, but we do try to get it as close as possible. But you'll find like a piece of black wool, and that's for the big zigzagged border on the outside. And then there's brown wool, the smaller pieces for the wing, and the bigger pieces for the bird. So just kind of follow through with that, and you'll know which colors are for what. Now, I did my first block using the freezer paper method. So I actually cut this heart out of freezer paper, and I've used it for all 3 of the blocks that I've made. So this one is for the 4th one. So for this, I'm using the freezer paper method. We have other videos on this group that show you how to do the freezer paper method and how to do the fusible web method. So I'm not going to go over that in the video, but I just wanted to show you that for me, I decided, because my fusible web that I had wasn't big enough, that I would do this heart shape in the freezer paper, and that way I can reuse it. So this is the same piece of freezer paper that I've used 3 times before, and you can see it's stuck down pretty good on the wool. Okay, so then the other pieces you're going to trace onto whatever. So you're going to do either the freezer paper method for all of the applique shapes, or you're going to do the fusible web. So for this one, I'm using the soft fuse web. So this is Nellie's favorite, and we do have this, and we also have the light and the ultralight in the Heat and Bond. So we've got those on the website as well. But these soft fuse, there's 10 sheets in each pack, and you can use them for all of the other shapes. This block of the month doesn't have a lot of different applique pieces, so one of these packages would last for more than the for the whole quilt. So I wanted to show you what I did. So you have to trace this heart shape. So you're going to fold whatever type of material you're tracing on, and then put the fold along both of those sides, and then you're going to trace it and then cut out each side. So, but you don't need to do that yet. If you want to just do the other ones first, because you're going to do the applique on the heart first. So I took the fusible web, and I just wanted to show you, like, if you have little pieces of the soft fuse left or any type of fusible web, just keep it somewhere where you can keep it nice and flat. And these ones I just left in the soft fuse package. So that way they stayed nice and flat and I was able to use them. So I got quite a few shapes onto this little piece that I probably would have thrown away otherwise. So it is a good practice just to leave all those little pieces somewhere where you know where they are. So I've gone ahead and traced all the shapes that are listed in the pattern. So the cherries, it tells you how many you're going to cut eventually. So you want to trace 3 of those. You want to trace 1 of those. This berry leaf, you're going to cut 5 of them. So you need to trace 5, unless you're using the freezer paper. So you could just trace a couple and then just reuse them to get your 5 pieces or your 5 shapes. So either way, you can trace using the freezer paper and not have to trace all of them. But if you're using the fusible web, you have to trace out as many shapes as you need. So I've gone ahead and I've traced 7 of the berries, and I've traced 8 of the cherry leaves, and I labeled them so that after I've ironed them onto my wool and cut them apart, then I'll know which ones are which. So usually if you have a complicated design, it's a good idea to label them so you know. I mean, I knew what the bird was and the wing was, but all these little pieces, the berries and the bees kind of look the same. So it's a good idea to go ahead and label them. So then once you've got them all traced, then you can go and iron them onto your wools. So all of the leaves are going to go onto the green wool, the berries are going to go onto the purple wool, and just follow the pattern. So you can look at the other video that goes over how to fuse them and then cut them. So basically, with the soft fuse, you just have to iron them with no steam for like 3 to 5 seconds, and that will stick them onto the wool. And then you just cut along the lines. So when you're tracing, you want to make sure you leave a little bit of space in between each shape, but when you cut right on the line. And then once you've got all your shapes cut, then you can go ahead and start fusing them. And Nellie has a little trick, and it's in one of her videos about how to take a damp tea towel, and put it over top. So you layer your shapes, get them where you want, put the damp tea towel over top, and then iron, and they set really well. So make sure you watch that video as well. So tomorrow I'll try to upload a video, and I'll have my little bird and whatever else has to go on here fused. And then I'm going to show you a few of the different stitches that we use. So in the pattern, Bonnie talks about just doing, I forget what she calls it, a whip stitch. So she says she whip stitches the applique pieces onto the heart. I like doing a blanket stitch. So that's what I've done with all of my other ones. So you can see in here, in the snowman, I've done a blanket stitch around. So you can do a whip stitch if you want. If you don't want to do a blanket stitch, that's fine. But I just like doing a blanket stitch. So that's what I've done. So I'm going to show you, I'll try to show you both of those, the whip stitch and the blanket stitch, and also how to do French knots. And then this here is a stem stitch. So I'll try to show you that. And I think that's all that's on there. Yeah, so once we get all of the embroidery done on here, so you're going to like outline the tree and do some, there's lazy daisy stitches here, or detached chain stitches. So I'll show you those as well. Once you get all that done, then you're going to trim this heart, and you're going to get it onto the Osnaburg. Now, one thing I wanted to say, we put in the newsletter that we sent enough Osnaburg for all 4 of your blocks. So just make sure you cut them the size that it says in the pattern. And then what I did, because the Osnaburg's kind of loose, it's a loose weave, I just took my sewing machine and did a zigzag stitch around the edge, just so that it wouldn't be fraying when I was stitching it. So if you want to go ahead and do that, you can do that to all 4 of your blocks right away, and then you won't have to worry about it later on. So tomorrow I'm going to do that. I'll put another video up, and it will just go over some of the stitching. And if you guys have any questions, you can either email us or you can put a message, a comment on the group page, and we'll try to help you out. Okay, thanks. Bye.